Phillipsburg Town Council meeting, March 27th, 2024.
I call this meeting to order. The Open Public Meeting Act statement. Vice President Councilwoman Bowles, would you like to read it?
Sure. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting on March 27, 2024 was included in a list of meeting notices sent to newspapers of record and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice has been available to the public and it is on file in the office of the municipal clerk.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Skirbo, would you please do the invocation?
Sure. Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
Amen. Susan, roll call, please.
Councilman Park. Councilman Kennedy.
Here.
Councilman Skirbo.
Here.
Council Vice President Paulus.
Here.
Council President Marino.
Here. Bills list, please.
The total regular bill list, March 27, 2024, $823,964.47. The prepaid bill list is $262,513.13, for a grand total of $1,086,477.60.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second. I'll second it. Any questions on the bills list? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo.
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus.
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes. Okay, the minutes of February 28, 2024, regular session minutes, as well as the March 6, 2024 work session minutes. You got a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy.
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo.
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus.
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes. Okay, at this time, we'll be going into executive session, contract negotiations. Council?
Contract negotiations with Phillipsburg Housing Authority. Will be in there for approximately, what, Matt, 15 minutes? And we're not taking action when we resume? No action will be taken when we resume. We're going back there? Oh, yeah, we need the motion.
We need a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Councilman.
Okay, Counselor, how long we were in executive session?
Motion to reconvene real quick.
Motion to reconvene to regular meeting?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're in executive session for approximately 22 minutes, during which time we discussed one matter, contractual negotiations with the Phillipsburg Housing Authority. No action was taken.
Thank you, sir. I'd just like to read this proclamation first, before we move on. From the town of Phillipsburg, proclaiming the month of March 2024 as Women's History Month. Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background has made historic contributions to the growth and strength of the town of Phillipsburg in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas women have played and continue to play critical, economical, cultural, and social role in every sphere of the life of the town of Phillipsburg by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home, including our own municipal government. And whereas women have played a unique role throughout the history of our nation by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force of our nation, including on nearly every board and committee of the town of Phillipsburg, including town council. Thank you. And whereas women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions of our nation. And whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. And whereas women, including many natives of the town of Phillipsburg, have served our country courageously in the military. And whereas women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolishment movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, that March be designated as Women's History Month. Thank you to all you women. Without you, there'd be no men. That was right. I didn't say nothing wrong. As long as I didn't say nothing right, you know. Argue with that. Okay, presentations. Okay, Chuck Brady, Executive Vice President of the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation, is here with Jeff Finnegan and Dr. Jim Brennan. Chuck, it's all yours.
Yeah, we just wanted to take a minute to come and give you a status report on the project. Probably hadn't heard from us in a little while. Jeff, you want to
So
kind of give an update on the fundraising led by our committee, and then I'll give you an update on the construction piece of things in a moment.
so it's been a year and a half, I think, since we were in front of you folks. Dr. Brennan and I came in when we first pitched the program. We've come a long way. There's still some work to do, but we're commitments. We're at about 1.8 million and change. So we're most recently through a friendship of with Chuck from Kevin Harvick, the NASCAR driver. He and Chuck have been friendly for a long time. He gave us $100,000. The Phillipsburg Rotary gave the largest single gift they've ever given. They recently gave us $25,000. Joe Callalillo out of ShopRite, just a quick phone call, never really did speak to him. He gave us $25,000. So there's some local support as well as support like the Kevin Harvicks of the world who, through an association with Chuck, thought we had a really nice project going and reached out with a six-figure donation. So, of course, the McLean donation of $1 million really breathed immediate life into the project. And we've got some other commitments that we're hoping come in soon. One that we're working on over the past couple of days, Matt and Rich, to get us hopefully to the roughly 2 million mark that we're shooting for. So, questions, thoughts, anybody?
Council?
Thanks, Jeff. I guess in conclusion, I just want to give a little bit of an update on the construction side. We have engaged Van Cleef Engineering to start all the civil drawings. So they're working on that, and the town will see those plans submitted shortly, go through the permitting process. We are talking and engaging some local subcontractors, in particular, right now, the site work contractor to do a lot of necessary site work out there, and we're talking to some others as well. We did get a little bit of sticker shock that we're dealing with now when we found out what prevailing wage would add to this project. Being that we don't do a lot of work in New Jersey, it was kind of a surprise, but we're working through that to kind of firm up our budget. We truly anticipate physically breaking ground this summer and being done in the fall, which would be about 1 year from last October when we had our official groundbreaking. So we're excited. Things are moving in the right direction. Any little bumps we've run into, we've been able to overcome. So we're excited and want to thank everybody for their support. I think everybody up here in the front has been very supportive. Jeff and Dr. Brennan and all of our committee members have really been the backbone of making this happen locally. So we're excited to get this done. I'm excited to get Cal up here to Phillipsburg and show them around and show them where I used to play baseball and maybe take a couple ground balls at Walters Park.
Here you go.
thank you very much for allowing us a couple minutes
You're
on the
welcome,
agenda.
Chuck, and I'm glad that you gave everyone an update on that. When you say you're going to finish around, what, September, October, so that field won't be ready for another year yet, right? Before they can play on it, over a year probably.
No, it's a synthetic turf field. They'll be able to play on it the days that contractors pull out of town.
Good.
So whatever, maybe Little League football, I don't know if they start earlier, but it'll be ready in the fall for play.
Any questions from any council?
I just have one. So is the project staying the same size, what we originally talked about before?
Yep, it includes a football field / soccer and it'll be lined for many other recreational or rectangular sports. Field hockey, I think, is part of it, lacrosse, soccer, and football. There will be a baseball diamond incorporated in one part of the field. We were looking at trying to see how we can incorporate 2 baseball diamonds, which we could, but you couldn't play 2 games at once. It just wasn't enough space. The outfield kind of conflicted with each other, but there will be a baseball field and then a rectangular field with all the sports lines to host all the sports that you can think of.
Cool. Well, thank you for that.
If you look at all the lines, you can get a little dizzy if you look down at it because there's lots of lines.
Kids these days know which lines they're playing on. The soccer guys know it's the white lines, the field hockey women know it's the yellow lines. They all see it and understand it. We see it all over the place. Maybe confusing for guys like us, but.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank all 3 of you for all your hard work in bringing this project to the town. It's very exciting.
Well, we appreciate the support from everybody here. We were just in Baltimore last weekend for the Ripken Gala, where they raised $2.5 million in one night. And Derek Jeter was the honoree, so if you're a Yankee fan, it was kind of neat to see Jeter being honored by an Oriole, which was a little odd, but nevertheless, it's a first-rate organization, and as Chuck's driven the point home on many occasions, when they come to your town, they stay with you. So we'll follow up throughout the year, sending people to run clinics. They just don't take care of that, putting that field in for you, and then forget about who you are. So we're hoping to be able to maintain that continual relationship with the Ripken Foundation out of Baltimore. So it's good. Should be a great asset for the town. Will be a great asset for the town. Jimmy, did you want to offer anything?
Councilman Kennedy?
Yeah, I know some residents had some questions about the maintenance of the field and the fact that the artificial turf lasts approximately 10 years.
Well, 2 things on the maintenance. It's pretty easy to maintain, but it does require maintenance. There's and I guess probably Greg at the high school can talk about how they maintain their turf field, but there's a synthetic turf groomer that basically, about once a month you run the groomer over the field, and it keeps the synthetic turf fibers standing up and fluffy, and it evens out all the infill in the field. The first field we built was at Old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore in 2009. If you go out there today, and it's a youth field, just like the one we're building here, the field looks like the day we cut the ribbon on it. So there's a guarantee, a manufacturer's guarantee on the turf of 8 to 10 years. But the realistic life of the turf, if you're not using it for high school football with cleats, and if you're using it for kids' activities, you get much more useful life out of the turf, particularly in this climate. The biggest thing that breaks down turf is heat. So in Texas and places down south, the turf may not last as long, but in this region of the country, we're experiencing it. That's 15 years since our first one was built, and it looks like it's still in great shape.
Okay. Well, along those lines, Keith, our hope is to keep a committee together made up of volunteers and residents where we continue to raise money on an annual basis in some capacity. With the Ripken folks up here, with weekend tournaments, lacrosse tournaments. Again, you got to remember, we're going to be the first and only Ripken field in the state of New Jersey. So it has a tendency to be a mecca. And our hope is once we turn it over to the town, you guys manage it to the point where there are a lot of people that want to come here. And my son played travel baseball. They paid big money for a place to hang your hat for the weekend. So we think that's going to be good for the town in more than one way.
Councilwoman?
You mentioned a groomer. How much does a groomer cost?
$1,800.
Okay.
It's
And-
cheap. It's
Yeah.
a piece that
Okay,
is pulled along behind probably some kind of utility cart that I'm sure the town owns for maintaining its other projects.
how much time does that take to do the entire field? You said once a month.
Hour or two.
Okay,
It's as if you were cutting the grass. Except
That's fine.
the groomer is just being pulled. It's not cutting anything. It's grooming.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor, you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Let's get this project going, get these kids some activity, keep them busy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you. Thanks for
everybody.
having us. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We're supposed to have a habitability hearing. Good job. 75 South Main Street.
Council President, I was in communication with Pat Case today on his advice and recommendation to the council is to carry this for 45 days to the May 8th meeting. The homeowner and the town are working together and are in agreement as to the next steps. So just a motion to that effect.
Thank you, sir. We need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any questions from council? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on, public discussion on agenda items only, 3 minutes. State your name.
Council President, we do have the chief here.
Oh.
Neglected to.
Did I neglect the chief? So I have to walk on?
It's done.
No, not my problem. Excuse me, let's back up, I don't want to get a ticket. Chief, you're on. Lack of communication, sir,
I'm pretty sure I can't.
and not from me.
I'll be very brief. I just have two things I wanted to report on. Last time I was here, I spoke about the shot spotter. We are all full and operational. We have had a few incidents with it. One of significance where we were able to locate 2 fire grounds in the exact location that the shot spotter told us it would be. And the other incidents, it seems we're still calibrating in with the pistol range. So whether it was the wind blowing or we can't figure it out. Our other program that we run with it, we can detect every shot at the pistol range, but there were 2 that kind of threw off and said something near Howard Street in that area. But it is up and running. The company's still fine tuning all that stuff, but quick report on that. The other is, I talked about the neighborhood patrols that will be starting. Easy access for everybody. We just finished uploading the map of all the zones to our website, and it lists all the officers and which zone they have, so it's easy for the public to reach out to somebody, has their email address right there. They hover over their zone, it'll show on the desktop. It's actually very easy. You hover over it, it'll show the email, you can click on it and email your officer in your neighborhood. Not as easy on the mobile. Mobile, you can see the map, but the numbers are listed and the email addresses that correspond with the numbers are underneath of the officers' names. That's what I got for this month.
I have something for you, chief.
You got it, sir.
Now I gave you time to talk. Captain Masco was here. What are we doing with that parking meters? We've had, what, 3 venues that are doing it? What's the update with that?
I believe we bagged them and we're using Park Mobile.
So the public knows. Thank you.
Yes.
That's all I had. Anyone from council while he's here? Thank you, chief.
Have a great evening.
Okay, now we go back. Public discussion on agenda items. State your name, 3 minutes. Joe, go ahead. You're a senior guy.
It's real short.
Yeah, you're a senior man.
I'm Joe
You have to speak up there, Joe. So you can hear it.
I'm thrilled that there's a police report. It's been years since we had a monthly one. Please keep it up.
Thank you, Joe. Wow. This is a... Joe, next meeting, Matt, get a proclamation so I can give it for Joe. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi there, David Morissette, 5 Fairview Heights, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I'm proud of where I live. I'm not against the turf field. If the town's going through with it, I think that's great. Looks like it has strong support. I did have some concerns, I kind of still do, the fact that the planning and the organization for the turf field that's being built on government property is outside of the town's purview. I don't know if the town can somehow make those connections a little bit more official. One of my questions seems to have been answered. He mentioned if the turf field's used lightly for Little League football and soccer and things like that, the field doesn't need to be repaired so quickly. However, my understanding from my previous conversation with council, I think about last August, was that the town's looking to rent out the field to recoup costs and bring in soccer teams from over in Easton. And I assure you, many of those soccer teams play like semi-professionals. So the field probably will have more wear and tear than just Little League football. Town money is not being used for the field, I understand. And I gather Van Cleef is doing some work in preparing the field. So my assumption is that either that's coming out of the $2 million of donations, or Van Cleef is doing it for free as a favor to the town. And I'm still looking forward to hearing, my understanding is Steel Hill is maxed out. They can't get more volunteers. I mean, they're like running at full capacity. That's my understanding. So will there be new teams formed? One of the things that the Cal Ripken program assures is that they're going to expand opportunities for the youth. So will there be new sports organizations coming up to help expand opportunities for the youth, or is Steel Hill what we got? I think Steel Hill is great. It's not a criticism on Steel Hill. And there's also a bunch of other programs that they show at the Cal Ripken website. I'm waiting to hear how they're going to run those programs, who's going to run them. They talk about a lot more than having some clinics. Anyways, that's where we're at, and thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to answers.
Sure. Anyone else from the public discussion on agenda items? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. Okay, we're going to move into ordinances. This is going to be the second reading, and the public will have an opportunity to question them. Ordinance 02024-04, an ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, deleting and replacing Chapter 93, Open Space of the Code of the Town of Phillipsburg. Need a motion? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please. Public now. Excuse me. Anyone from the public like to question anything on this? None, sir. Now roll call.
Councilman Kennedy?
No.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Wallace?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, second ordinance, 02024-05, an ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, amending various sections of Chapter 422, Parks regarding the use of parks and other facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone from the public? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Third ordinance, 02024-06. An ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, replacing Chapter 67-7, road truck restrictions, and Schedule 4 with Chapter 67-7 designated truck route. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
Public discussion on that? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. 02024-07, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank NJSA 48:4 or 4-45.14.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone in the public? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, the resolutions on the consent agenda. Any council want to pull anything?
Yeah, Council President, can we pull 2023-48?
48. Okay. Any others? Okay, I'm going to abstain from Resolution 2024-65, Resolution 2024-67. Okay, roll call, please.
I need a motion.
Oh, motion. I'm fast, man, I'm fast.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo? Council Vice President Paulus?
Did he? No, not.
Nah, I actually have a question on one of these, so am I allowed to have discussion on it?
Should pull it.
Pull it.
Pull it, all right. I'm gonna pull R 2024-66.
66? Okay, so 66 and 48 are pulled, Susan.
You want me to start all over?
Start all over. Let's do it by
Sorry
the
about
vote.
that.
Okay. Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes, except for the abstentions on 2024, 65, and 67 for the record. Okay, Councilman Kennedy first.
Okay, the one I pulled was regarding budget. It said that this 18-cent increase in our budget is because we didn't pay our bills last year. I can tell you the only bill that we didn't pay from last year's budget was a bond payment, which was deferred. We had the option to do so to try to keep taxes flat. Had I known that for this year's budget, we would be undergoing a reorganization of municipal services with new positions being created, new hires, raises, promotions, etc., I would have voted no on last year's budget and insisted on making the bond payment. Mayor Piazza and Council President Marino, while they voted no to a flat budget last year, neither one mentioned any need for a reorganization of municipal services. Everyone knows taxes cannot be kept flat forever. But knowing that this bond payment would have to be made this year, I feel it was irresponsible to undertake a reorganization of municipal services with additional salaries, promotions, and raises on top of the burden already placed on taxpayers with the bond payment. This reorganization of municipal services is based on a hand-drawn organizational chart that goes back to the Ellis administration, and possibly before that. Nobody really knows for sure. I asked our business administrator for a copy of this chart, but I haven't received it yet. Perhaps I can get that prior to the next meeting in the interest of transparency. If many of these positions were not needed for that many years, the positions, in my opinion, should have been deleted. And if there is a need at some point to fill these positions, The responsible thing to do would be to introduce them one by one with council approval. No one likes to raise taxes. At times it is necessary, but the tax increase in this year's budget did not have to be this extreme. Later in this meeting, I will be making a motion for a municipal hiring freeze for the remainder of this year. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Mayor?
Sure. I couldn't agree with Councilman Kennedy more. If I would have known what the plan was for 2024, when I asked for it in 2023 on multiple occasions, I asked for it to be emailed to me in writing, the financial plan based on that budget, because there was a lot of concerning things in that budget that, we were shouting from the mountaintops that I think at one point in time I said I predicted a 15% increase in 2024 last year. We were able to knock about $200,000 off of discretionary fund to drop that down to 11 cents. I asked multiple times what the plan for 2024 going forward was. Couldn't get an answer. Our mayor last year sat there quiet. He wouldn't email me. I said if he didn't want to speak in public, he could send it to me privately. I got nothing. So had any of us known what 2024's budget would have brought, we could have made a better decision last year. I do agree with that. But unfortunately, 2024 is what it is. We had no information from last year, and we had to deal with the decisions that were made without really being informed last year. So I apologize for doing the best we could with the little information that was provided from 2023.
Hey, thank you, Mayor. I won't read off anything. I'll come from the top of my head. 20 years ago, President of Council, at that time, the budget, the first year, I forget what it was raised because our prior administration didn't catch up. It was about over 10%. Then we kept it around the 2%, always money in the bank. On school boards, always around 2%, maybe one year it went up to 7%. There was things, major layoffs. Last year, you can check the record, all you people want to fact check me, I asked the mayor, bring it back to you, do something with it. I'm not the mayor. I'm not running the town. If he doesn't know enough to raise it 2%, shame on him, not on me. That's why I voted no. So in my defense, Councilman Kennedy, I would have went with 2%. I would have went 2.5 even, which usually I don't, but I like the 2%. And you had said one meeting before about school district 2%. I was on the board for 4 terms. That's why they have money and Phillipsburg ran out. So it's not the current Mayor Piazza's fault or my fault that we voted no. We weren't the administrators. Why should we tell the mayor what to do when he didn't listen to us? He did not answer us when we said to him, here's the budget, take it back. If I'd have been the mayor at that time, I'd have raised the taxes 3%, knowing, because he was there all the time, right? The mayor's supposed to be there, not me, I was only a councilman. So in my defense, Councilman, I would have raised it. But I'm not going to tell the mayor how to do his job unless he wants to pay me the money. Right? He didn't pay me the money, so why should I advise him? I'm not an advisor. So therefore, I like to, you talk transparency, that's transparency. It should have been raised. Look, no one wants to see anything go up, especially when you're retired. But that's the sad part. All the contracts we deal with, it goes up. But it's not fair to say the 2 prior councilmen from last year voted no. We voted no because then the president of council, and I won't quote him, said we're going into a disastrous year this year, 2024. A man of 16 years experience sitting at the top, thinking, hey, he might go along with us too and say, hey, look, guy, you got to raise it a little. He didn't. So it's unfair that Mayor Piazza now and myself are taking a hit when we would have done something different. The mayor at that time did not answer any questions I asked him about the budget. So it's an unfair statement, and I want to clear it, and that's how I feel. I have nothing to hide.
Council President, can I
Go ahead.
Okay. Maybe you didn't understand. My objection is not toward raising taxes to cover this bond payment. My objection was the reorganization of municipal services with all these new positions, raises, and promotions on top of it. That, I feel, wasn't necessary this year, and I think the tax increase would have been a lot more moderate had we not gone with this reorganization, at least for this year.
Council President?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, I have some words on this. So I had a chance to meet with Mr. Merlot today, to go over the budget some more, to see if there was anywhere where we could possibly look into cutting, and got some background on the bond payments and what wasn't paid last year. If we go back to, since some of my colleagues want to play a blame game up here, if we go back to why this town is in the mess that we are to begin with, there's two things that happened in the past. There was a chiller that was put into the old municipal building that wasn't up to specifications, and now we're paying millions of dollars to remediate that building, and that's on the taxpayers. The person that was in power at the time, I don't need to mention names, people can figure it out, that was negligence. When you're overseeing projects like that, you're the CEO of the town, those things shouldn't happen, so things like this in the future happen to us, that don't happen to us. That's one thing. We'll also have to pay for a new pool, which is beautiful and a great thing for our community. People will have to think about it when we have something new. There's a bond we have to pay every year to pay that off. We did not pay a bond payment of, I believe, $600,000 last year, and now we're paying $900,000 to pay, which Mr. Merlot schooled me on, is basically 1/10 of what the bond is. So he tries to maintain that every year to be fiscally responsible, and that's what we have to do. As far as the staffing, the new staffing and things that were aligned where it should have been, I believe, in the past, I only believe that, you can hope to believe that that's gonna help our town run better and provide a better service for our community. If people are objected to that, I would question, what would you think would happen if we don't have that kind of structure? Things could get very worse, and we would be in, higher taxes going up for things that are being neglected or therefore. So those are my thoughts. I appreciate Mr. Merlot for explaining a lot of things. I dealt with budgets 100-some million on school board for 6 years. This is kind of a drop in the bucket for that, but he explained to me it's a little bit different on the municipal level. So I appreciate your time, Mr. Merlot. Thank you.
I actually, can't agree more with Councilman Skirbo and everything that you said. That $600,000 payment that wasn't made is half of the increase this year. And I think it was quite ridiculous to use the one-time revenue and exhaust all of that money just to keep the taxes flat for the last couple of years. Knowing that the economy is so bad and everything has been increasing, I think that, and I brought this up at last year's budget meeting, that maybe some people needed to take some accounting classes. And you laughed in my face. Because if you had done a couple of small increases, the increase this year wouldn't be as bad as it is now.
Okay, so we have that, I want to make a motion, second, so we can pass that, R 2023-48.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
No.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Wallace?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, Councilman Skirbo, R 2024-66.
Yeah, I just would like to know what the price of the bid was for the roof for the Roseberry House.
So we received 2 bids on Roseberry House. We did receive one bid. It was approximately $47,000. Unfortunately, we received one other bid that was higher, significantly higher. Unfortunately, the low bidder did not have a New Jersey Public Works contractor certification, which is required for bidding on public work in the state of New Jersey. They didn't realize that. They have a New Jersey BRC, Business Registration Certificate. They thought they were one and the same. In fact, they're not. So unfortunately, they were not a qualifying bid, and the other bid far exceeded the project budget. So per local public contract law, we were able to reject all bids and go back out.
So where would these funds to fund this come from in our government?
So This project is actually not being primarily funded by the town of Phillipsburg. The town of Phillipsburg owns Roseberry House, but the project itself is actually being undertaken by the Phillipsburg Historical Society. They received a $50,000 grant from Warren County to undertake this work. The town in, I want to say it was the 2022 budget, had set aside $8,000 as a match to that grant, which allowed them to receive the grant in 2023. So we're just getting around to bidding it now. So it's actually the majority of the funding is coming from the county to do this project. But we're gonna have to go back out because of the non-qualified bidder and the only other bidder being far exceeding the budget.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Councilman Skirbo, this was part of the same line of grants that provided the town with trails money from the county and the train station with money. It's the municipal and charitable fund from the county. The majority of it's coming from there.
Okay. Thank you for explaining all that. Appreciate it.
Okay, can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second on R 2024-66, we need a second.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Wallace?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, are there any old business? Councilman Kennedy?
No, I don't have anything.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up. I know I mentioned about Irwin Street. There's been a lot of speeding, different things going on over there for the past couple months. Residents had reached out to me. I just wanted to know whether we communicated that to the police or where we're at with that.
That was passed along to the chief.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Kennedy? You got him? Vice President?
Nothing.
Nothing for me. Any new business? Councilman Kennedy?
I have nothing.
Councilman Skirbo?
I just want to keep the families and the victims in my prayers that perished in the bridge collapse the other day. I just want to put my prayers out there for everyone that was affected. That's all.
Thank you. Councilwoman?
Yeah, in reference to the sewer rates, I'd like to make a motion to repeal ordinance 2022-03 and freeze the sewer rates for 2024 instead of instituting the projected increase for this year. Looking at the budget, it looks like we should be able to meet the anticipated expenditures based off of last year's revenue.
So are you?
And what I'd like to do then, take a step further and look at the possibility of other changes to increase the revenues for this year. So for the time being, would it be repealing ordinance 2022-03 because that had a 5-year increase for sewer rates?
Right, so if, my preference would be for us to look at that ordinance and present it to the council at the next meeting, just because if we repeal the entire ordinance, I don't know where that leaves us with rates. But, in terms of what we're charging our users. And the ordinance, 2022-23, I believe, is also tied in with the sending districts and commercial and industrial.
It does, well, I don't know about the sending districts, to be honest with you, but it does include the rate structure for commercial properties, multi-units and stuff like that. But what I'm saying, at this point, I'd like to just freeze them to the 2023 rates and not institute the increase that was in that ordinance for this year.
Okay, so.
Until we can look into it.
Yep, understood. So in order for us to do that, we would do an
For the
ordinance.
next-
Yeah, and we would
Okay.
do an ordinance capping or freezing those.
Okay.
Those rates. I can prepare
That works?
So we can look at that next meeting?
Yeah, we'll have it for the next meeting for the council's consideration.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, I have no new business. Okay, motions, we have special events. Chad?
I have a motion, Council President. As I said before, I want to make a motion for a municipal hiring freeze for the remainder of this year.
Okay, is there a second? Motion dies, no second. Okay, special events, Shad Tournament, April 24th, 2024, Relay for Life, May 4th, 2024, Hope Day, June 8th, 2024. Before we go to public petitions, Tim, do you have anything you would want to address council with?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we have to.
Oh, excuse me, Dan. Roll call, Susan.
Did we get a motion and second?
No, you didn't get a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, Tim.
Earlier today, a resident through the gas company submitted a permit for new gas service on Columbus. The address is going to be, just pull it up, but they're going through a process to convert from oil to gas. They recently purchased the house over the summer, and to complete the conversion, they'll need a waiver from the road opening permit because the road is under moratorium. It is a near side service, so it's closer to the curb line. I'm not going to have to dig across the entire road.
It's near the corner, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it's, just want to make sure I get the address right for the record. So 706 Columbus is the property. There's some sense that with the conversion, they might be able to save money on their home utility bills.
That's all they need is a waiver from council.
Council, and I don't believe the resident is here.
Council, any questions of Tim?
Yeah. This is always difficult. We have these moratoriums for a reason. They're newly paved streets, obviously. In the past, I've voted to grant waivers in cases where people had like no heat, they had no alternative but to, dig up the street and convert. So I'm a little hesitant for this. I mean, if you give a go ahead for this, why even have the moratoriums at that point? So just wanted to make that point.
Any other concerns from council?
I just got another question off of what Mr. Kennedy said. So is there any other houses on this street that have done this already?
I can't speak to that.
Okay.
Usually what the council sees by the time the waiver comes, the person's already removed the heating system before getting approval for the conversion. That's what we have experienced.
Yeah, though I do agree with Council Kennedy, those kind of things do frustrate me too. As a resident, when I see a new road being paved and then a couple months later, they're doing all kinds of stuff to it. We've seen it the past 4 years here in town, so I am sympathetic to residents that are looking to save money on their bills because everyone's looking to save money on their bills in the economy we're living in. So I guess as we'll look into this more with the paving schedule that goes on, I'd like to see a lot of these streets redone again because they were just redone, and now when you go down the street, there's a hump every time you hit one of those patches. So I do agree with Mr. Kennedy with keep digging up the ground. But if everyone else was allowed to do it at this point, when these things come up, we shouldn't be shying away from this individual either. So.
I have no problem with it for the following reasons. We've granted them in the past. Could be a financial hardship, oil or gas, you don't know what their income is like. And we've done Heckman Street 20, 30 times, and they keep digging it up. So how can you say no to one, or yes to them, and no to another? I'll support it, and not that I'm a softie, but if you have a problem with a furnace and what they're charging for people to replace them, you got to go along and have a heart, So I'll grant the waiver. I mean, you're absolutely right. They should get the permit before they do anything, but we're human. Okay, so what's council feel on that? Need a motion to grant that?
Oh, is it in this case that they already removed the existing?
The property owners indicated that their current oil heating system is still operational, so they are not in a case where they do not have heat.
And so we need a motion to grant the waiver? I'll make the motion. You have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Kennedy?
Reluctantly, I'm going to vote no.
Councilman Skirbo?
I'm going to vote yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Thank you, Tim. Anything else?
That's it. I'll let the property owner know.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Public petitions. State your name. You have 3 minutes.
Dawn Paulus. I would like to know about Fillmore Street. All of Fillmore Street is two ways except where the municipal building is. And since that is no longer a school, there's no kids, no school buses, why can't that part of Fillmore Street be opened up to two ways?
You can look into it.
We'll look into it. Matt, look into that. I mean, really.
I think the one-way was based off an engineering plan from, is Tim still here? Where's Tim? Tim, was that based off part of a one-way engineering plan, that traffic plan previous?
That predates me, but likely at some point designated as one way because of school traffic. So
Okay.
kids getting off the bus and dropping off. Still do have quite a bit of drop off, but it is part of your circulation plan you recently adopted, is to generally revisit your traffic patterns through the town. By changing that block, you want to look at the rest of the roads.
Sure.
And that particular area, you need to keep in mind the police and fire circulations.
So really, that's going to be Lewis Street, which is two-way on the north, one-way on the south, Chambers Street, and Washington Street. And then Dugan Alley, one is one-way and the other is two-way. So we would have to look at that entire hill.
Correct. You should look at it as, you have an isolated item, but the bigger neighborhood was identified as part of the circulation plan.
Including Irwin Street. The whole hill's all screwed up. We can look into that, all it is. I mean, they come flying down Lewis Street, right? They see a stop sign, they don't even
Well, to
see
go
it.
to Dunn Avenue, you either have to go all the way around one way or around the other way. Well, it's the only part of Fillmore that isn't two ways. So,
I don't mind reviewing it.
Yeah, we'll review it.
Get back to you.
okay.
I think that whole bill should be reviewed. Like,
And
really?
I'd like to know about Hudson and Schultz. Why can't that be made a four-way stop? Because it's really bad to get out of Schultz.
We can look into that as well.
So that was brought up for a vote, I think, 2 years ago, and it was shot down.
Yep. And my other one is the highway, and it's the west lane. And I don't know if you've ever sat and watched cars, but they'll be all the way over in the left-hand lane and shoot all the way over to the right-hand lane. I don't know if this would be the town or the state, but why can't you put signs up, like back by Ingersoll Road, where Ingersoll comes out to the light, and Bates is over on the other side, Ingersoll? Why can't you put signs up that tells you that the right-hand lane is for South Main Street and the bridge? The middle lane is for the bridge, and the left lane is for the post office and Morris Street. That way, people that's back a ways, at least they can see the signs and they know enough to get over. One day, somebody's really gonna get hurt there. They shoot across into them lanes like mad. And the other day, 2 cars were right alongside of another car, and that car had the blinker on to get over in the lane. Well, he couldn't get over because there was 2 cars right there. So is that the state's problem or the town?
State.
Isn't it up to the town to go to the state about it?
Well, Mr. Polis, what I could do, I'll ask Matt Hall to write a letter to the state DOT and see what we could do. How's that?
Oh, I think that would be fine.
And Tim's right here.
Yeah, the resident can make a request
No.
like that to DOT. Only the local governing body can make a request to complete potentially a safety audit and add wayfinding signs.
So we'll do everything in one plan. We'll pay them one time instead of about 4 times. How's that?
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Council President, since we mentioned that area and I mentioned Irwin's right across the street, could we revisit maybe putting stop signs in?
I think we tried that a few years ago.
Yeah, that's what the mayor just.
Right,
Yeah,
but
and it got voted down.
so we can get Tim and get him all the streets in question, especially that hill.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Yeah, we'll bring it in a work session sometime. Okay, Tim?
Hi,
Name?
Joan Pierce. I just have a quick question. I'm looking at the budget here, and I noticed that under different things it says other expenses. Can somebody explain what the other expenses are? Because those numbers are pretty high. So what's the other expenses?
Was that under capital?
Oh, it's under everything. Current expenses, under every department. So I'll just say recreation, for example. So under municipal pool, it says salary and wages, and then it says other expenses. So like, salary and wages was 110,000, and then it says other expenses, 46,000.
So other expenses is gonna be, I mean, in the case of the pool, chlorine, candy for the snack bar, whistles for the lifeguards. I mean, it's.
Here's what I found.
So you got your answer, Jenny. Where you are.
It's anything that's not salaries and wages.
Let us know.
So every department has other expenses. So Public Works, other expenses, $205,000 would be what?
Fuel, blacktop, salt, auto, vehicle parts.
And then we have other Public Works, salary and wages twice, other expenses. And we have a lot of it through the whole budget. So instead of just listing other expenses, which is a lot of other expenses, we're talking big bucks. So maybe we should be aware, since it's tax-paying money, that we have a list of what these other expenses are. Because I know I sat on a board and I went through a budget, and I wanted to know what every penny was spent for, because 11% is kind of high.
So you're looking at the budget overview. There is, online, the line item expenses, so the other expenses is broken out into the different line items within each department. So for, the pool, pool would be pool chemicals, it would be, snack bar, food, it would be.
I don't know that. And I'm
Right,
sure a
no,
lot of
I'm
people
saying,
here don't
but
know that. I
you
know.
can- Right, but you can go online and see.
I'm not computer savvy, not to be disrespectful. A lot of us here might not have a computer. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm really not. But it's a lot of expenses and a lot of money that us taxpayers don't know what it's being spent for, and we're looking at 11% increase in taxes. And I'd like to know, because our money was being spent and
Okay, John, 3 minutes, sorry. Okay, anyone else under public petitions? Seeing none.
yeah.
Okay, on the record, there is none. Council at the time, Councilman Kennedy.
Yeah, I don't have much. I just want to wish everybody a happy and healthy Easter. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Councilman Skirbo.
Yeah, I just want to know, moving forward now, were you able to post for interest for open space and rec? Possibly, if we could do that as soon as possible, maybe tomorrow, or when do you think would be the best time?
Councilman?
Well, there's an estoppel period on the ordinance of 20 days before the ordinance takes effect, but there's certainly, wouldn't be any harm in front-loading requests with that proviso, that it's still subject to the ordinance becoming effective.
But
Yeah, we can post to the website tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Okay. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Easter as well.
Council Vice President?
Happy, healthy Easter. Stay safe.
Okay, happy Easter for everyone, happy holidays. And now we have executive session. Counselor?
Thank you, Council President. We have an executive session need for contractual negotiations, 75 South Main Street, and also 540 Marshall. No action is going to be taken when we resume open session, and we'll be in there probably 22 minutes.
Motion? You need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.